Hello guys, this is Joseph from Jouleconcepts. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this raindrop shader effect with Cinema 4D, basically with just Cinema 4D without any plugin. I checked online for how to create this, and most of the tutorials I found online were just using Octane, Redshift, and all that. So you'd have to make use of a renderer or a plugin to do that. But I thought to myself, how can I replicate that in Cinema 4D material without? So that's for those people that don't have money to get this plugin. So how can you do this? So if you look at this um, effect, you can already see that you have the raindrop effect. And also another thing I noticed is that the object here, the visibility are kind of different in these three options. So I'm going to show you how you can set your visibility to make it blurry and also to make it visible if you wanted to do that. So without, let's just get into it and see how we can bring up the shader. It's very simple actually. All right, so I'm here in Cinema 4D. Oh, by the way, I'm making use of a scene which I saw from a friend's channel, Travis Davis. This will be my second tutorial, which I'm going to be talking more about his tutorials and be doing revisions on his tutorial. The first one I did was on Mixamo, and I'm going to put link in the description how you can add animation and Mixamo. So I'm talking about this because I got this also from a tutorial where you use Octane, so I want to just replicate that using normal Cinema 4D. So what I have here is just basically an object. So this scene just looks more like a scene. You have a plain object, two cubes, and a sphere here. Then I have my um, three lights. I have a headlight, I have a key light on the left, and I have a fill light. I'm going to hide all of them in a bit so you see and understand why I added them. Then in my own case, I added another light here just by the side of the camera, on top of the camera, just to lit up the scene here. So, and also you see why I did that. Then I have a sky object, which I just added an HDRI, Studio HDRI materials to. Then I have a background. So the sky object is, I have a tag on it, which I uncheck this in my camera. So I don't want to see the HDRI material, but I want to have a dark object for my background. Okay. So, and another thing I did was, this is optional actually. So I depends on the kind of color scheme that you're looking for. I changed my color scheme to linear workflow from the sRGB normal. So, but in case if you want to do that, just hit Shift V. You go to your project setting or sorry, Control D rather, to your project setting. So you want to, under your project setting, scroll down. Your input color profile, you change it from this to linear. That's the first way you can do that, first place. The second place is going to your preferences. So if I go to edit preferences, it loads up the preferences. Then you want to go over to your view. So if you go to your view, you can also change the display color from the sRGB to linear. Then the third place is under your renderer. If you want to render, so you also do that here. I think here in the save, you change your image color profile by clicking here to linear so that everything is consistent. Okay, so I render that in full HD, so I'm going to divide this by 2. Okay, times 2. Let me just make this 600. All right. So that's just basically all that I did. So I'm going to create this texture again. So this is the plain object. I'm going to delete this and create a new texture. Okay, sorry, my mouse has an issue, so I had to get me a graphics tablet. So that is what I'm using. So you can also see the color here for the material looks so different from the normal color. This is because I'm using linear workflow. All right. So, but like I said, it's not paramount. It's not very important. If you're using a sRGB, it does not mean you're not going to get the same effect. It's just that the color will be slightly different. And where you want to use this will determine where to use the linear workflow. I think I'm going to talk about the linear workflow more extensively later in the future. So I have this. So I'm going to call this my raindrop. So I'll add the raindrop. Okay, I think I've added it to the plane. Okay, so this is the raindrop. All right, so I'm going into the camera. So the first thing I'm going to do, another thing you need is you should also go to Google and download a raindrop texture. So you can just type raindrop texture on black background or raindrop bump texture and all that. So you can get any effect of a raindrop that you could have. So me, I have one here. So you could look for texture effects like this. So I took this to Photoshop and got out a bump map for it. So that's how I got that bump map. Okay, so I'm just going to bring up that raindrop texture. So bring back this. Sorry, because we're going to be needing that. This. Sorry about that. Where did I put this? UV raindrop. All right. So if I double click here on my raindrop material, so let's start plugging in those things here. So I am going to first off put that in the bump map. So I'm going to load this and put the raindrop into the bump map. So I have that. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is to double click here on this texture and open my bump channel. I want to start putting in the effect on my bump. So let's start with the bump. So I'm going to click here and bring in my raindrop bump. Then I'll say no, then I'll do the same thing for my normal. Click, put in the normal channel and say no again. So we have that effect loaded. So you can already see. So, but then I want to work on this texture. This looks so bad. So what I can do is to select this texture and try and change up this. So the first thing I'm changing this to cubic and we have this effect. So if you feel that this is fine, okay. If you want to stretch this thing more along the Y value, just come to the length V. So maybe you make it 150. So it stretches this more, you can see as to what we have here. So you can, so it depends on whatever you want. So let's go with 120. Then we have that. And doing it seamless, okay. And putting the seamless, you see the effect I have. Rain shouldn't go this horizontal. So I think I'm going to leave this seamless out of the way. Then we have that. You're already seeing a feedback on this because if I'm going to render this now, it's strictly okay. I have, so let me just bring this back to QMC and bring this to fixed. 2, possibly make this 2. I don't want to, I want it to be very fast. So if I do this, you get to have this effect. So you're not seeing through, all right? You're not seeing through. What you're just seeing is more like rain effect over a board or a paper. But then I need to have that glass effect so that I can see through, all right? So don't forget my sky object is on, that's why I'm having all these lights interaction. So if I double click this texture again, then bring up the transparency channel. Now, I don't want this to be glass, so I'm going to change it to water. Doesn't really mean if you make it glass too. So I'll go to my reflectance, delete this default specular. I'm going to bring in a Beckman material object, go to the Fresnel dielectric and go to the presets, choose the same one, water. Then for the roughness, I'm going to bring this down. So let's see what we have. So if we click here, you can now start seeing this object here inside. Okay. So these objects, you can start seeing the water effect. So for you to make this look even better than this, then you need to work with your lights. Your lighting is very, very key and very important. So that is where the light comes in handy. So I've added my key light. So if I bring up the key light on, only the key light, you can see the key light coming up here. If I render, you will see that the raindrop will start having interaction with the light towards the side and it start looking better. So you can see, I think I should just do a comparison. So I'm going to click here to render out. Okay, so this is where am I. So this is without the lights. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the lights and do another test render. So you can see, so I have the raindrop without the light and this is with the light. You can see the difference somewhere here. You see that this just looks flat and now you have more interaction. You can even see the light effects on this side. Okay, so you can just take your time to do that. Then I'm putting my rim, my fill lights at the right to also compensate for this dark area here. Then I now also have my rim light at the top to compensate for this top part. I don't really need anything down there. So if I'm to do the render for these 3 lights, you should have another one. So you see that everything now looks very good. So this is without any lights. This is with the key lights. Now this is with all the lights. So I can see the effects, okay, as compared to the previous one. So see that the object is coming out well. Okay, so let's go back to the material. But then if you look at this render, don't look more like what I showed us here. You see this frosting effect, all these effects, we don't get to have them. So why are we not having that? Okay, if you open your um, material, your raindrop, now this roughness is not what will give you that effect, because I tried working with that. Even if you change the roughness all the way, it does not give you the overall frost on the glass. So let's just quickly do a test render. And you notice that it still looks similar. The same thing you have is pretty much the same. You don't really have. So how can you do that? That can be done on in your transparent channel. So it's coming over to your transparency. The blurriness is what does that. So if you bring the blurriness to 5 to start with, you notice the preview here. Then if you render, you notice that this becomes more blurry. So the more blurry you want your glass to be, the more the higher the value you should aim for. See, we have this, and this is for 5. So let me just give this 5%. Let it finish. Give it 5%. So this is 5%. So let's go back to this and bring this to let's say 20% and do another render. So this is with 0%. You don't have any blurriness here. Still close, but still close to this, but there is a little bit of blurriness to this edge here. If you see, compared to the detail here is much. So let me just get close to this object. So you can see that the definition of this edge is more compared to this. You can notice that this is, so let's look at the 20%. See, the 20% now comes up. So you have this. So if you come also to the light, the blurriness effect will also play on the light on the glass. And so for you to get that, you want to play with this value. Mind you, it takes longer time to render, right? So if you notice, without the blurriness, I have 18 seconds. With 5%, I have 19, and with 20%, I have 27. So the higher the value, the longer the time it takes to render. So you want, and also depending on how frosty you want, how blurry you want your objects at the back to be, you choose your value here. So in my own case, I think I used 18, but I can just use 16 and the value. Then the other thing is, if you also look at this object, it has this color, tinted, reddish tinted color here. That can be done by changing this transparency color. But if you change your absorption color, it affects your background. Okay, it affects your background. So, and let me just show you. So if I bring this absorption color just a little bit tint of red, you know that, okay, it's just of white, but has a tint of red to it. And if you render, you notice that the background becomes very reddish. Can see everything becomes red. No matter how little you bring this, it becomes red. And this is working with your absorption distance. All right. So the distance is okay, 100 centimeter absorbed, whatever you want. This could be the effect you might like. No problem, you can do that. So if you increase this value to, let's say, 10,000 and do another render, it doesn't change the fact that you're still going to have this color at the back. If you bring this way down to 0.2, just to check, let me quickly pause that and render again. You see the 0.2? That means you're saying that the absorption distance will be very little before you start seeing this red color. All right. So if you do that, you see the difference. So that means this has more of the reddish color compared to this. So you are still seeing more of this object. All right. So depending on whatever you want, fine. But if this is not the effect you're looking for, then what you want is make this the default 100 and the color, bring it back to white. So I just want mine to be off white. So this is the color you're changing. So let's do this render with that little off white color and see what we have. We still have that. So just as soon as you have a tint, you're going to get that. So let's bring it to 0. So that is 0. So once that is 0, we are back to our normal value. Then all I just need to do is to change this color to that reddish tint. So if I bring this up to this place, so the glass will have this tint of this color. I can already see the effect here. So if I do this render now, this should give me the effect that I was looking for. So depending on, okay, if I feel that I still need more tints here, then you need to also bring this up even more for you to get that tint you're looking for. So let's say up to this place. So you can see the edge here. You can see a bit of the red here as compared to this, which is just white. You can see the difference. Have that reddish color. So you just don't want to go overboard with it, just a little bit of tint. And that will go a long way giving you that effect you're looking for. Okay, so that is pretty much it for how you can create that. So you can play around with this and even animate this texture. So you have that illusion that the rain is falling and all that. So what you can do in terms of the animation, I was playing around actually. So let me do a little bit of texture rotation. So if I go to this texture and how to rotate this a little bit, just a little bit. Yes, just something like this. All right. Then I'll go back. Then I can come to this texture. I want to rotate it along. I want this to come down along the y-axis here. All right. So I want the rain to start flowing down. So that can be done under the texture, under the offset, the V offset. And the key to this is that please don't let it be too much. Just a little, just saw the animation, and that's it will be hard to kind of get. So at this point 0, I'm going to keyframe that, go all the way to 90, and 4 might be okay. Keyframe that, and if you play, you notice that that start flowing down. Did you see that? So you could also do that effect, but then you notice that it's having easy in and easy out. So you want to correct that. So if I pause this for a moment and select the texture, I can right click here, go to F curve. So I'm going to Control 8, select all, then click on this linear. So I want to turn everything to linear animation. Then if you play, you notice that everything goes normal. All right, so you could decide to do this and animate that, and everything will look fine, and you don't get to have any issues. So I think that is pretty much it for this tutorial. If you think this was helpful, please give me a thumbs up and like it because it helps me. And if you're new to this channel, please do subscribe to my channel because I drop tutorials similar to this every time, every week. So do have a wonderful day and God bless you. Bye.